Hello everyone, and welcome to another live ukulele jam with me, Matt Stead. We're going to go with a flowers theme today, so all sorts of songs about flowers, which is going to be really lovely. The reason I chose that was because spring is my favourite season, and here in the UK we're just kind of inching into spring. The daffodils are coming up, the primroses, which are my favourite flowers, are poking out along the banks under the hedgerows, and it's all starting to become a bit spring-like. So that's what we're doing today, which is going to be really exciting. I'm going to spend a bit of time going over how everything works at the start as well, because we've had a few new people recently, and I think it'd be really nice just to kind of do a bit of a recap, which is always good. And this is going to be our last Kanikapila before I go away on a cruise. So this is our last one until the 17th of March, all right? After the 17th, we'll be back in. So, yeah, brilliant. David found us. Yay, well done, David. I know you were having trouble before, so that's fantastic. So, well done. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Pam. Hi, Indrani. Hope you're all doing well. Absolutely fantastic. Hi, Beach. So yeah, I'm going to miss you all. It's going to be strange. Although a couple of you I'm going to see on the cruise, which is like crazy exciting, which is going to be brilliant. But I will miss the rest of you. But we will be back on March 17th, and after that we'll be pretty much straight through every Monday, which is going to be fantastic. Aloha. So you might have noticed I've got my little countdown tickers over here. So we've got 4 days, 22 hours. Now this was made by Harry before he got on his plane to Florida. So this isn't quite correct. It's a few less hours than this, but 4 days, 22 hours, 27 minutes, and he even did the seconds. And if you missed out on the cruise and you want to come to the next one, you've got 355 days to plan it, so plenty of time to plan it, which is gonna be loads of fun. If you are interested, I won't do sell, but I'll just stick it up here. If you're interested, next year we're going on the 13th to the 22nd of February. 2026, and we're going doing some different islands this time, which is quite exciting. So it'll be St. Kitts, Antigua, Puerto Rico, San Juan in Puerto Rico, Puerto Plata, probably saying that horribly wrong, in the Dominican Republic, and then back again. So really exciting stuff. And all the details are on the website and Facebook. So just have a look on there and you will find them. Yeah, I know what you mean, Peter. I probably should have done, shouldn't I, really? Should have done sea shanties or something. I don't know. Oh, well. No, maybe next time. Cool. Trying to think. Oh, yeah. So a couple of other things to tell you about. We will be getting back to the Beatles course soon. I know it's been a bit of a gap, but I have loads of ideas. So don't panic, it hasn't finished. We've only just begun. We've got 8 lessons on there, and we're going to do at least probably another 20. So that's going to continue when I'm back. And also we're going to do a lovely new live lesson, one of my favourite jazz tunes. I thought would be a nice way to ease back into it. We're going to do Cole Porter's Brilliant Night and Day, and I'm going to talk to you about jazz comping, a particular kind of way of strumming and kind of comping on the uke, which sounds really lovely, and we'll break down the movable chords and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be loads and loads of fun. Okay then, so what we'll do, we'll jump into tonight, and I'm going to do things rather unusually. Not that unusual actually, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with our 3rd song tonight, just to mess with everyone's mind. We're going to start with Wildwood Flower. So this is page 6 in your sheets. The reason being is this is a lovely piece which has very simple chords. It's largely just based on the 1 and 5 chords. So I can really show you how Kanikapila works. And if you've never done it before, this will be really simple. And I thought what might be nice would be if we tried it in 2 different keys, so you can see how it works and how you could transpose to a different key, which would be really great as well. Hi Mel, hi, I'll give you a shout when I'm back from the Caribbean, Mel. I've been meaning to give you a phone call at some point to help organise them in a festival, so I'll give you a shout when I'm back. So let's have a look at what's going on then. So in terms of the rhythm, if you like, or the time signature, most Kanikapila sheets are considered to be in common time or 4/4, unless it says otherwise. So that means in every measure you would count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But this one, you'll notice at the top there, we've got a little cut time symbol, which means we're going to do it in 2/2. It's kind of like half 4/4. The most important thing is to think that we're only going to count 2 beats. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. And when we put the pulse in a minute, you're going to see it does affect the feel of it. But just so you know how to count this one. So each of those boxes is a measure. And then what we do is we number those chords in any key, just like we would in a scale, starting from 1 to 7. So C, this one's in the key of C. 1 chord would be C in this case. 2 chord a type of D. 3 chord E. You've guessed it. 4 chord F. 5 chord G. 6 chord A. And 7 chord would be B. And all of those chords tend to be played as different types. The 1st, the 4th and the 5th. And don't worry if you don't remember all this, I'm going to give you some help with this later on. But the 1st, the 4th and the 5th are generally played as major chords. The 2nd, have to be careful not to give you a rude symbol here. The 2nd, the 3rd and the 6th will be played as minor chords. And then the 7th chord tends to be played as a diminished or half diminished. So don't expect that too much, but just know 1, 4, 5 tend to be major. And each one of those chords has its own little personality. So the 1 chord is the one that you feel resolved on, or it sets you out on a journey. The 2 chord adds a touch of melancholy or a sense of movement. 3 chord is your heartbreak chord. It's the saddest chord of all. 4 chord just creates a sense of change. 5 chord is tension. 6 chord is melancholy again. And 7 chord is either jazziness or darkness. Quite an unusual chord that, used to link things up. So we'll, not long hopefully now, Karen. Springs around the corner. So kind of think about those personalities, and there's all sorts of books. Phil Dolman has a brilliant book on how songs work, which explains this, and I go into this in a lot of depth in my courses as well, so you can learn about them. But basically, you'll notice these patterns that happen in modern music because of those chord personalities. And this is an old-time piece of music, mountain music from Appalachia, and this one just uses very simple 1 and 5 chords, which is really common. So the 1 chord in this case, just bog standard C major. That just sets you off on a journey. It's whenever you hit that in the song feels resolved. The 5 chord creates tension that makes you want to go back to 1. Okay, and if I play that round a few times, you'll notice whenever I hit that G chord, if I pause on it, it's going to feel unfinished, like there's a cliffhanger. Have a listen. Did you see how it felt like it wanted to resolve, which is really, really lovely. Now, let's have a go at just playing through. I want you to do any strum that feels comfortable at the moment. It could be all down strums or up and down, whatever feels right at the moment. Let's just have a go at that first bit so you can see how it works. Let me just get the lyrics up. It will look and sound something like this. 1 and 2 and twine with my mingles and waving black hair, with the roses so red and the lilies so fair. Nice and easy, right? It works really beautifully. We've got home, tension, resolution. Home, tension, resolution. Now when we go to the chorus bit, really it's like, I guess technically it's the second part of the verse, but I've called it the chorus to separate it. Now, it's almost the same thing happening. We're going to ignore the C7 chord at a minute. I'll explain why in just a second. But if I just play that as a C, we've got almost the same thing. Only this time, instead of the 5 chord, we have the 4 chord, which is F. And then it goes back to the C. Now remember, we call that 4 chord the change chord, so it just creates a sense of change in that next bit. So that will look and sound like this. And the myrtle so bright with the emerald dew. Okay. And then we're back to our 1-5-1. That just means C, G7, C. Notice this time it's being played as a G7 rather than a G major. And that's because when we come up to the end of a piece, we quite often turn the 5 chord into what we call a dominant 7th. Don't overthink it. It just means you have the letter like G and we put a 7 after it. And by turning it into a 7th, it makes it feel even more cliffhangery. Feels like it's asking a question, so you get the relief when you go back to the 1. So basically, the way you can think of this song, and this is what I want you to have a go at first of all, right? I want you to ignore that C7 measure. I'm going to explain it in a minute. Just play it as C. And I want you to think of the whole song as this. 1, 5, 1. 1, 5, 1. 1, 4 this time. 4, 1. And 1. And 5. And 1. You could even play that last 5, the G chord, as a G7. It wouldn't really matter, but it just sounds that extra bit tense with a G. So notice that pattern's really easy to remember, and that's the same with a lot of folk music and old time music. The reason being is that it's a historical thing. A lot of Scots-Irish music and Appalachian music was all about communal playing. And if you think about it, if you've only got a few chords and it's really simple in structure, anyone can play along. So a lot of these old tunes, which go back to old fiddle tunes from Ireland and England, they tend to be just A, B sections, like A, B, A, and they just go between the 2 like that. And they use the 1, 4, 5 chords. So let's try that. Let's try a couple. We'll do a couple of these so you can get an idea of how that works. You've got the lyrics on the next one, but I'm going to keep the chord sheet up. See if eventually, we'll do a couple and see if you can do it off by heart without looking at the boxes. I bet you can with this one. I really bet you can. I'll stay on close camera for this first go round. Here we go. 1 and 2. I'll twine with my mingles and waving black hair, with the roses so red and the lilies so fair. Chorus. And the myrtle so bright with the emerald dew, and the pale amanita and eyes look so blue. And we'll hang on that C. Then we'll go again after 1 and 2. And 1 and 2 and dance I will sing, and my love shall be gay. I will charm every heart in his crown. I will sway. Chorus. When I walk from my dreaming, my idol was clay. All portion of love had flown away. All right, isn't that cool? So really simple chords, those 1, 4 and 5 chords. Now, what if we wanted to do this in a different key? Why would we want to do it in a different key? Well, some keys are particularly hard to play on the ukulele. So, for instance, if this was in a key of F sharp, that would mean an F sharp chord for the 1 chord and a C sharp chord for the 5 chord. Really hard chords to do on a ukulele. So, sometimes changing the key can make it easier to play. As a singer, sometimes it might be too high or too low for our vocal range, so we want to change it. And sometimes we might want to change it to match what other instruments do. So this is a great practice. Transposing, where you change the key, is a great way to practice these, what we call the Nashville numbers. And if you've never heard of them before, Nashville numbers, it goes back to Nashville, where a lot of hillbilly music, which is kind of now known as old time music, and then eventually bluegrass, was played at the Grand Old Opry, and Grand Old Opry, I don't know why I called it Opry, Oprah Winfrey. And they used these simple systems so that the band could back up a singer and they could just start playing off by heart, basically. Let's say we wanted to do this in the key of G. All right, so in the key of G, we'd have G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. Every key has a certain amount of sharps and flats. We don't have to worry about that F sharp because we don't use one, because the chords in this are 1, 4 and 5, weren't they? All right, so 1 in the key of G will be G. How do we work out what the 4 chord is? Just count on our hands. G, A, B, C. So 4 chord will be C. G, A, B, C, D. 5 chord will be D. All right. So that means we could instantly pretty much play this in the key of G, because we know the verses would go between the 1 chord, G, 5 chord D, and then we go back to G. So that's 1, 5, 1 in the key of G. It'll sound like this. Oh, I'll twine with my mingles and waving black hair, with the roses so red and the lilies so fair. Then when we go to the chorus, if you have a look, we'll ignore that second measure again, just keep playing G. Then we would have G, because that's the 1 chord for 2 measures. When I woke from my dreaming. Now the 4 chord, G, A, B, C would be the C, right? Okay. When I woke from my dreaming, my idol was clay. And then the last bit, back to where we were. Oh, portion of love. You could do a C or a C7 here. Add flown away. Okay. I think go for a normal C there. It sounds a bit funny with a C7 on the uke. Okay. So, just for fun, let's try just 1 verse and chorus in the key of G. Come on, you got this. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay? Here we go. I'll do just the chords first. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and G and D and G, and again G and D and G. Chorus G. Now C, back to G and D and D and G. Sometimes I miscount because I'm a complete wally. That is the 5 chord. It should have been D at the end. I think I said C the first time, but yeah, there we go. So you got to have your brain in place when you're doing this. Now 1 more time with the lyrics, and then I'll show you something else really cool. 1 and 2. I'll twine with my mingles and waving black hair, with the roses so red and the lilies so fair, and the myrtle so bright, with the emerald dew, the pale amanita, and eyes look so blue. Cool, huh? So you get the idea. This is how it works. I don't want to spend too long doing this because I'm sure you're all desperate to try the other songs tonight. But say I wanted to do it in the key of D. Okay, so we're going to do it in the key of D. D would be the 1 chord. D, E, F sharp, G, A. Okay, so in the key of D, D is the 1 chord. And then we just count up E, F sharp. Don't worry why it's so sharp for now. And then G and A. 1, 4, 5, D, E, F, G and A. So we could do this in the key of D instantaneously, right? Because we would have, that's our 1 chord, that's our 4 chord, and that's our 5 chord A. Okay, so the start goes between the 1 chord and the 5 chord. Oh, I'll twine. Oh, I just need to get my key a sec. This is really low for me. 1 and 2. I'll twine with my mingles and wave. I've got to go higher, sorry. 1 and 2. I'll twine with my mingles and waving black hair, with the roses so red and the lilies so fair. Alright? And then the chorus would go to the 4 chord. And the myrtle so bright with the emerald dew, and the pale amanita and eyes look so blue. Yeah, so we can play this in any key. Let me know if you've got any questions with that. Hopefully that's really powerful and that helps you. And this is why knowing these Nashville numbers is really great. And this is why I love Kanikapila. And this is also why we do the sheets like this rather than with the chords and the words. Because the chords and the words are great if you're playing from music sheets. But if you went to a bluegrass jam or a jazz jam or any kind of jam really with other musicians, they wouldn't have chord sheets. You'd have to do this stuff off by heart. So this is teaching you how to do it basically. And that's why we call these Kanikapilas, because it's the Hawaiian term for jamming with people. And it tended to be really free form, no sheet music. So it's kind of in the spirit of that as well. Okay, now we'll go back to the key of C. Now I just wanted to show you, because I really believe in cyclical learning. We've talked about this before. But notice in the chorus, we go from C to an F, don't we? And notice that we turn the C into a C7. Now that's a really common thing to do when we're going from one chord to another. We'll often play the one chord first as a normal one chord, C major, and then as a dominant 7th. And then we go to the F. And that's just because that dominant 7th chord, that C7, it has a note in it, this B flat, this one here, my finger, that leads to the A note in an F chord. So whenever, if I play C to F, it sounds okay, right? But when I put that C7 in, notice it really leads beautifully into the F. Isn't that great? It's super cool. So that's why we've got that little dominant 7th in there in the chorus. You could, and a lot of old time players wouldn't put that in there, but you can put it in optionally if you can. All right, so just to explain, that's why it's there. So when we do the chorus this time, let's put that C7 in. It will sound really nice. Let's just give that a go. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. Okay, so here we go. From the top. 1 and 2 and twine with my mingles and waving black hair, with the roses so red and the lilies so fair. Chorus. And the myrtle so bright with the emerald dew, the pale amanita and eyes look so blue. Yeah, now we've done the whole thing, which sounds fantastic. So that's how it all works, and that's cut time. That's not cut time. It is in cut time, but that's how the Nashville numbers work, which is great. Yeah, Joe, you could definitely do that. I'll show you a little kind of idea of that in just a second, Joe. And Indrani was asking about what picking pattern we're going to use. So let's have a look at picking on this one. Now, Joe, I'll show you what you could do claw hammer first. I won't go into a lot of details because not everyone's kind of up to that level yet and will be able to do claw hammer. But if you're interested, what I like to do kind of claw hammer style is on the C chord, what I would do is I would pick the A string of my nail of my index finger coming down like this. So that gives me this. Just hitting the A string. And then I would do a little brush down and touch the G string. Claw hammer. And you could do that on each of the chords. That would kind of look and sound something like this. Let me move this out the way just for a sec. So, there we go. So that would kind of look like this. Oh, I'll twine with my mingles and waving black. See, I got the chords wrong. I'll twine with the and waving black hair, and the rose is so red, and the lily is so fair. Which sounds really nice, right? Now, if you wanted to take that up a level, your first pick, you could go between the E and the A string like this. E string, A string. Twine with my mingles and waving black hair. Which sounds super nice. And then if you want to be really fancy pants, you could do a hammer on. But we're getting into quite advanced stuff, and I realise I'm probably turning a load of people off there. So let me show you a really easy peasy lemon squeezy pick, which actually sounds really gorgeous on this song. So I'll show you it now. It's really, really lovely. It looks like this, and we call this often a cut time pick because it works in cut time. What I'm going to get you to do is just practice one thing at a time. Put your finger on a C chord, and I just want you to pick the C string with your thumb down here. Okay, try and get it nice and clean. Notice I'm picking below the fingerboard because then I don't get caught up in the frets. So just here, just above the sound hole is nice. Then I want you to follow that by taking your middle two fingers, and I want you to pinch up on the bottom two strings like this. Then I want you to try putting them together like this. No worries, Joe. And then if you want to make it a little bit more advanced, you can alternate between the G string and the C string like this. And because we're in cut time, it works beautifully because we have this 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So if I put that together with the chords, I'll do it just here so you can see on the close cam first. Isn't that lovely? Then the chorus. Lovely little strum pattern that you can use and experiment with. It sounds so gorgeous. So that would be the one that I would recommend trying on this, and we call that a cut time pick if you're interested. A cut time pick. Now, all these old time songs, they were pre-swing. They were written pre-swing. This one, I think I wrote down, was written, some brilliant fascinating facts from Karen again. This one's written actually in 1860. That's how far it goes back. But the famous version that most people know was by the Carter family in 1928. A.P. Carter, who was the dad in the Carter family, he used to go around collecting songs, and this is one of the early ones he did. Oh, I hope your thumb feels better soon, Karen. Yeah, I'll take a bit of practice to that, Indrani, but you will get that definitely, for sure. So we could do the pick, or you can just strum it quite simply. But just keep it really straight so you get that straight time sound. We don't want it swinging like this. We want 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. All right, you got it. Now, if you want to do a little solo on this one, you don't have to, but if you're interested in doing a solo, this one's in the key of C, so you can use the C major scale. Now, we tend to pick out two of the notes that don't sound that great against a couple of the chords, and that's the B note and the F note, and we end up with this 5-note scale, which is really handy. Now, you can do this open C, D fret, D on the 2nd fret, open E, G on the 3rd. Oh, got you, Indrani. Yeah, I got you. Open A and a high C. And remember our little trick, because the A minor pentatonic has all the same notes. We can also play open A here, C note here, D note here. Notice the pattern we've talked about before, right? It's all the dots. So you can hit those dots on the A string. And you can also hit any of the dots or squares in here. That's your pentatonic scale, which is really nice. So if I was to do, let me see if I can play a backing track for this one. You could do something sounds like this. That's just the that's mostly just notes on the A string. So have a little experiment. I'll play a couple of chords and have a little play. See if you can do it. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Hit some of those notes. All right, let's put it all together then. What we're going to do is we're going to play the whole song through. Now, don't worry, I know I've spent a lot of time, but I just wanted to go over because a couple of students asked on our Facebook group, quite rightly, for a bit of help with the Kanikapila and the way it works. So I thought just simplifying it and do this simple song first will work really beautifully. So we won't spend so much time on the explanation of the others. Don't worry, we'll soon crack on. But let's have a go now we've got that all together. I'll stay here rather than on close cam. What I'm going to do, because I think it sounds nice, is I'm going to play the picking pattern on the first two verses, and then I'm going to do a strum on the next two verses, and then the fifth verse I'll go back to picking. So I'm going to go pick, pick, strum, strum, pick, and let's put a solo after verse 2 and verse 4. So it kind of breaks up a bit. So we'll go verse, verse, solo. Hang on, is that right? Yeah, we'll go verse, verse, solo, verse, verse, solo. For some reason, we don't have the fifth verse on this version. I don't know why I've done that. Do your versions have 5 verses? Oh, no, it's all right. I was looking at the wrong sheet. I was looking at where have all the flowers gone. So sorry. Let's just put one solo in. We'll go verse, verse, solo, verse, verse. Sorry, guys. I was looking at the wrong sheet. Okay, let's give it a go then. Let's give it a try. All right, let's get our picking going. Remember, just... But if you want to strum, that's absolutely fine as well. Okay, let me just get my lyrics. Let's play through a verse and a chorus once instrumentally to get us going. 1 and 2 and C and G and C, C and G and C, C, C7, F and C, C, G7 and C. Back to the top. I'll twine with my mingles and waving black hair, with the roses so red and the lilies so fair, and the myrtle so bright with the emerald dew, the pale amanita and eyes look like blue. Let's stay on the C and we'll go again. Here we go. I will dance, I will sing, and my love shall be gay. I will charm every heart in his crown. I will sway when I woke from my dreaming. My idol was clay. All portion of love had flown away. Try a solo. See if you can hit some of those pentatonic notes. Chorus. Lovely. Come back in. Oh, he taught me to love him and promised to love and cherish me over all others above. How my heart is now wondering, no misery can tell. left me no warning, no words of farewell. Nice. Then go back to the start. Oh, he taught me to love him and called me his flower, that's blooming to cheer him through life's dreary hour. How my heart is now wandering, no misery can tell. He's left me no warning, no words of farewell. Yeah, fantastic. I love it. Brilliant. Well done, guys. Yeah, Steve, it's interesting actually, Steve, because that picking pattern, the reason it works so well is because we're in that cut time. And cut time, you really want to kind of put an emphasis on beats 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And you hear that because you hear this. It's like a march, right? Imagine you're marching down the street. That's where cut time comes from. It's perfect for any song that's in cut time. You can do it for four time and double it up as well, but it sounds super sweet in cut time. So, and a lot of songs are written in cut time, counted as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. A lot of time people play them as common time 4/4, but they do sound nicer if you put an emphasis on every beat. And that's a big difference when we do. Oh, Joe, that's brilliant. Fantastic. When we do cut time, it's all about the pulse, right? Because when we do 4/4 timing like this, 1 2 3 4, or even if I don't swing it, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. Do you notice how I'm putting the pulse on the first beat? Whereas in 2 time, it's equal pulses on beats 1 and 2. So it gives it a different timing, and a lot of people get confused by time signatures and cut time, and it's just about the pulse, the musical heartbeat, rather than it just being on the first beat of the measure. We put equal pulses in 2/2 time, which is great. Oh, thanks, Peter. Oh, Peter's here. How you doing, mate? I've not seen you in ages. Need to catch up on a beer soon. Yeah, this one's great for clawhammer. I don't know if I can remember it. I used to do like a... I used to do like a little fingerpick version, which is really sweet. I think I've got a lesson on that somewhere on my website, so check it out. You can always do a search for Wildwood Flower Clawhammer. Okay, so let's have a look at another song then. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, mate. So we'll go back to our sheets and let's go for the first song now in our sheets, which is Where Have All the Flowers Gone? So again, we can still apply these Kanikapila processes that we've done so far to this song. Notice that so much folk music, and 3 of our songs tonight are really can be thought of as folk music, particularly American folk music. Notice that we have the use of those 1 4 5 chords again, C, F and G. Remember, you can count these on your hands, 1 2 3 4 5, like that. C, not D, not E, F and G. There's also a really handy, if you use the circle of fifths, you can use that to find them. I've been meaning to get hold of one of these for ages. I'm not affiliated with Noisy Clan who make these in any way, although I do think they're absolutely brilliant. They had a stall at the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain, and I meant to pick one of these up there and I forgot. But I'm not getting paid for any of this, don't worry. But you can get other versions. But what I love is it's this little chord wheel, and it gives you the 1 chord here, and then in the circle of fifths, if you go anti-clockwise, you get a 4th, and if you go clockwise, you get a 5th. So it gives you our 1 4 5 chords. And remember, we did it in a couple of keys. If we go to G, look, those are the ones we found, weren't they? 1 4 5. It's really neat. Now, other chords that come up are down here. So the 6th chord is down here. We've got the A minor in this song. Okay, so it's a really handy little thing. If you want to find the 1, 4, 5 chords in any key, you can use the circle of fifths or one of these chord wheels. They're such a good investment. Or you can count on your hand. The only trouble with counting on your hand is if you don't know how many flats or sharps are in a key, sometimes that can mess you up a little bit. But generally, the 1 and 4 and 5, you can get away with counting on your hand anyway. So here we've got one of the most famous chord progressions of all time. We've got a 1, 6, 4, 5. That 6 chord just introduces a touch of melancholy to the piece. Remember, minor chords tend to sound sad or dark. The 6th chord isn't the saddest sounding minor chord in the key of E, in the key of C. That's E minor, which really tugs at the heartstring. But it still has that sad quality, right? Now, the other reason it works so beautifully in this chord combination of 1, 6, 4, 5 is that it's related to the C. It's a relative minor of C. Now, don't sweat the theory, but notice that when I go to A minor, there's only one note that's changed. A C chord is made up of C, G. Oh, I was hitting the wrong one then. C, E, I should have said, and a G. Those are the notes that make up a C chord, C, E and G. And then we repeat a C here. Well, if we have a look at A minor, we've still got this C. We've still got an E, only there's no G, it's now become an A. And we've got 2 A's. So there's only one note difference between C and A minor. So that gives you a really beautiful, smooth transition. Well, look at the next chord. There's only one note difference when we go to F. So quite often, rather than going C for 2 measures and then F, often we'll put that lovely A minor chord in between. Isn't that lovely? But otherwise notice that the chord combination is very similar to what we were doing in the last song. That 1, 4, 5. We now just have the minor chords, the 6th chord. Now this one's in normal 4/4 time. So in terms of the strum on this one, we're just going to strum 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really simple, just 4/4 timing. And I'll give you a strum pattern in just a minute. In fact, I'll do it now. We'll just do the calypso strum for this one. A really simple down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up. Remember, I like to think phonetically. Walk, running, and running. Walk, running, and running. Tap, 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 tap. So if I was to do that on that first line, I would go C, A minor. Just one finger down here for F, and then G. So I have home, melancholy, change, and the tension of that 5 chord coming in right at the end makes you want to go back to the start, which is really lovely. I'm just going to take a quick sip. Sorry, guys. I always end up drinking cold coffee for Kanikapila because I always forget to have a drink on that. Oh, that's an interesting flavour. Okay, the next line is almost the same thing. We've got 1, 6, but instead of going 4, 5 at the end, it goes 2, 5. Now, the reason that works is actually twofold, really. Firstly, a D minor is so similar to an F. It's only one note different. Again, look, we're just adding this D note to an F chord. So it works as a direct replacement for that F, which is really lovely. But the 2 chord loves to go to the 5 chord. It creates a sense of movement. And then that wants to go to the 1 chord. In jazz music, we have these 2, 5, 1. It's a lovely little flurry that works beautifully together. All right. So that's a lovely 1, 6, 2, 5, which is one of the most common jazz progressions of all time. Comes back to I got rhythm, I got music. Goes right back to Gershwin, right? So we're getting there. Really simple, because if you have a look at the first 3 lines, 1, 6, 4, 5, next line 1625, next line 1645. We'll do the third line just a minute, but let's see how that's going to sound. 1, 2. Oh, hang on, I need my lyrics. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? D minor now. Long time ago. Here we go. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, everyone. Okay, now that's kind of easy to remember, isn't it? Okay, because we just got the, it's almost the same thing 3 times. It's just the second one we have that D minor in. Well, what if we wanted to do that in the key of G? Let's just think about it. We'll come back to C in just a minute. If we wanted to do that in the key of G, G would be the 1 chord, right? That would be your home chord. Then let's count up. What would the 6th chord be? G, A, B, C, D, E. And we're going to play that as a minor, just like we're playing an A minor in the original version. Okay? So that's G, 1 chord. E minor, 6th chord. 4 chord, we already did it earlier. Just count up on our hands again. G, A, B, C. Okay. And then the 5 chord, again, we did this earlier. G, A, B, C, D. A D. Okay. So in the key of G, we've got 1, G. And then 6, E minor. 4, C. 5, D. Next line, G, E minor. Remember my little trick, you can just put a little finger down for E minor. Then we've got the 2 chords. Well, let's just count up from G, G, A. Really simple. We'll just do an A minor. And then the D. And look at that, just by magic, we've got this in the key of D. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. It's magic, and that's the power of these Nashville numbers. So if I was a singer back in the day, or now, Grand Old Opry's still going. I did it again. Grand Old Opry's still going. And I would love to play there. I'll never get invited. You have to be amazing to play there, but wouldn't it be cool? I could get up on stage and I could say to my band, this song, I'm going to play it in the key of C, and it goes 1, 6, 4, 5. In the second line, we're going to do the 2 chord. They would be able to play along magically like that. It's so clever, so cool. Right, let's go back to C then. So we've done the first 3 lines. Now the next bit's really easy to remember because we have the 4 chord creating change, resolving to the 1 chord. Then it does almost the same thing again, 4 chord. This time we have the tension of the 5 chord, which makes you want to go back to the C again. All right, so that 4th line will sound like this. 4, I'll stay on close cam. Let's do once through then, once reverse. Then I'll show you a couple of cool things we can do with this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Lovely, really beautiful, right? And Indrani, I think these are Indrani's pictures. Lovely, lovely, what's that? It's a lily, isn't it, up there? Beautiful. Is that a nasturtium at the bottom? I'm not very good with my flowers. Anyway, so thanks for everyone that worked on the sheets as well. So Esther, Barbara, Karen and Indrani. So thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it. So let's have a look at what else we can do for this one. Well, if we want to do a solo, we can do exactly the same as we did in the first song, because this song's in the key of C major. So we could use the C major pentatonic. This is all in your scale resources sheets, totally free to download. Okay, links in the description. So C major pentatonic, it's just a reminder, we've got open C, 2nd fret for D, open E, 3rd fret for G, open A, and then we could do another C here. And we can also do all your dots on your A string. That's 0, 3, 5, 7, 10 and 12. That's your A minor pentatonic, relative minor. A, C, D, E, G and another A. And you can also play the notes on the E string as well if you want to. Let me do a backing track and I'll show you. Again, doesn't have to be anything like really doesn't have to be anything really complex. Just enjoy yourself with a little bit of noodling. Oh, hang on, you can't see what I'm doing. Hang on, let me do that again. That's just mostly the A string, right? Maybe a bit lower. There we go. You can have a little experiment and try a little solo on this. It'll sound really nice. One thing to note there, I talk a lot about the notes. Sometimes I don't talk about the technique. I'm just using my thumb to pick out the notes. Oh, no worries, Peter. Good to see you again, buddy. Good to see you. So I was picking out the notes, but notice something else I did. I was allowing those little phrases to breathe. So rather than just hitting one note after another, I'd hit a little phrase and then pause and then hit another one. And if you're not sure what rhythm to use, kind of match your rhythm to the lyrics. Where have all the flowers gone? It doesn't have to match melodically, but it gives you an idea for rhythm. Long time awaiting. And then you can get these lovely phrases which will sound really nice. So have a little experiment with that one. Let's bring the chords back up and we'll give it a go. Let's bring this one in. Fantastic. Okay, so this is on your first sheet. Now this one, what we're going to do, I think we'll do a solo. I'll make sure I'm on the right one this time. Yeah, we'll do a solo after verse 2 and verse 4. So we'll go verse, verse, solo, verse, verse, solo, and then a verse to finish off. Now, if you want to do a picking pattern to this, you don't have to, but if you want to, just a simple inside out pattern works well on this. C string, E string, G string, A string. Inside, outside, inside, outside. Like that. Okay. So that would look and sound something like this. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time waiting. Where have all the flowers gone? So I'm doing 2 lots of picks on every measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if I slow it down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. Okay, so just a really nice, simple way to solo on that, which is great. So we'll bring the chord sheets back up and we'll give it a go. There we go. Oh, just got a quick question from Shell. Shell's asking, would I ever do a mini bar of E and A strings when doing the C major pentatonic? Yeah, you can do that. A lot of guitarists do a similar technique as well. Sorry, I just realised my little things have gone. There we go. Right. Get them out of the way. So yeah, a lot of guitarists will do this kind of thing so they can hit notes quite quickly. They'll put a mini bar on their E and A strings, and then that allows you to play these two notes here, which is a G and a C. And you could easily and quickly hit this one here for another A, and this one here for a D, which is really, really nice. You could do the same thing up here. You just got to remember not to hit the 7, hit 8. And you often see guitarists doing that, all that stuff. I'm not very good at all that needling, shredding as they call it, but that's how they would often do it. So, and you can do it up here as well. Personally, I'm not, as I say, I'm not very good at shredding. I grew up playing guitar, but I was always a rhythm player. I don't particularly love to do the mini bars. The reason being is I can't really put any personality into these notes. I can't really slide into them easily. And I can't vibrato them very easily. Whereas if I do it freehand, I like to slide into notes. See how I get more control of my fingers if I don't bar. When I bar, I feel like I'm set in place. So something to think about. You absolutely could do it, but you don't have to, and it can sound nicer if you don't. So up to you. Have an experiment and see what works. Okay, let's give it a go. I've done enough talking, haven't I? I'm just going to take a quick gulp, last bit of freezing cold coffee, and then we'll play it. Here we go. All right. So I'll stay on this camera just so you can see everything. There we go. Let's roll a C to get us going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Have a verse. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young girls gone? Gone to young men, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Try the solo. 2, 3, 4. long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Take another solo. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? Gone to flowers, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Just repeat the last two bits. When will we ever learn? When will we ever learn? It's a beautiful song, isn't it? Such a great old folk song. I love Pete Seeger. He's a real inspiration. I model my kind of up-picking claw hammer that I like to do. That's kind of similar to a banjo technique that he did. Most banjo players did claw hammer where they come in with their fingers like this, but Pete Seeger used to really gentle up strums like that, which kind of appeals to my gentle side. I love that. And Indrani, you're absolutely right. I've been thinking about the state of the world recently. I don't talk politics on these things because everyone has their own views, which is fine. I don't want to push mine on anybody, but yeah, the state of the world at the moment is sort of a bit scary, isn't it? So this is my own little way of kind of, yeah, trying to bring a bit of peace back into it, really. So yeah, very apt today. It kind of feels like we're living in crazy times, doesn't it? Okay, let's have a look. I think what we'll do now is we'll go, yeah, let's do the Travis song. This is a really beautiful song. So this was from their album Invisible Band, The Invisible Band. It was the famous one with Why Does It Always Rain on Me and Driftwood and things like that. Really gorgeous songs. What I love about Travis is their chord combinations are really simple. So if we don't overanalyze this, look at the chords we've got going on here. We've got the 1, the 6, the 2 and the 5 in the first bit. And then in the verses, we've got 5 and 4, 5 and 6, 5 and 4, 4 and 5. So really simple 1, 4, 5 chords, again with a couple of minors chucked in. What Travis do, which is interesting, is they use extended chords. So sometimes rather than just doing a C, they'll do a C major 7. And it gives it a slightly more sophisticated sound. And the way they do it is very simple. Travis sounds like jangly indie pop, but they're using some really sophisticated chords, which is lovely. And on the uke, they're really easy to do, which is fantastic. And just by adding an extra note to a C chord, this is a normal C major. Remember earlier we talked about C, E and G, and then we repeat a C for a C chord. Well, a C major 7 adds a B note to it, C, E, G, and then instead of repeating a C note, we have a B note. When we put that together, we get a beautiful, rich sounding C major 7 chords. One of my favourite chords of all time because it's really simple but really beautiful. If any of you have heard my Psy Waltz off my last album, that starts with a C major 7. I really love the sound of that. So a really simple chord. And that B note is the 7th note in the key of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And that's why we call it a C major 7. A C dominant 7 has a B flat. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. But they flatten that B. So a C7 has a B flat as opposed to a B, which is really nice. So really, really simple thing to do, but we get this lovely sophistication, which is great. So let's take a look at physically what we do for this one. So we've got the C major chord like this. I just wanted to check for something quick. Yeah, cool. C major chord like this, C major 7. Just move your finger down. You could even move this one back. Notice that on our sheets it says C triangle 7. That's just a quick way of writing major. So if it ever says C triangle 7, it means C major 7. If it ever says C MAJ 7, it means C major 7 as well. The reason the triangle became popular, particularly in jazz charts, is because it's so different from a minor. A major, like a capital MAJ, could easily be confused with a minor, which is like a little m. So by using a triangle, it makes it really clear that it's different. So that's all that means. So C major 7. Okay, so C major 7. Then we've got the 6th chord that we had in the last song, being played first of all just as a normal A minor. Touch of melancholy, remember, with that chord. Then an A minor 7, that just means it's got a G note added to it. Well, that's easy peasy, just take all your fingers off. Okay, so an A minor 7 is no fingers at all. Okay, so C major 7, A minor, and off. Then we go to a D7. Now in the key of C, remember at the start I said that some chords are minor chords and others are major chords. The 2 chord is normally a minor chord, and so's the 3 and so's the 6. But in this case we've got it played as a 7th. Now this is really interesting, this chord. Now this, and again, this goes back to some fascinating facts. Now I didn't know this, and this it's ridiculous, isn't it? But I get super excited about this music nerdy stuff, right? I didn't realise that Fran Healy from Travis met Paul McCartney at a charity concert, and Paul McCartney helped him finish the chorus of this song. Now, the reason I find that really interesting is the Beatles used loads of dominant 7th chords, like a D7, where you would normally have a minor chord, like a D minor. So I reckon this is the bit that Paul McCartney helped him with, which is really cool. So we've got a D7 as the 2 chord. Then we go to an F minor. That's the 4 chord, but being played as a minor. That's a real Beatlesy thing again as well, rather than just it being a bog standard F, turning it into the minor. And then we've got the 5 chord at the end, which creates the sense of tension. Okay. Now, if you're playing this traditionally as you would normally play the chords, it would look and sound something like this. Now, if you want to make that a little bit easier, there's a cool thing you can do to make it even easier, right? So I'll show you. We do the first bit as was. Now, if you do this D7 as the Hawaiian D7, you can then pull it back into the F minor. So that will look like this. Suddenly that F minor becomes achievable, right? Because you can just slide your fingers back. I love thinking ahead like this. It makes it sound really nice. Now this one you could do simple down strums, which we call straight 8s. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... down strums, really simple. I like to do a walk, walk, running, running. So by that I mean down, 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 up, down, 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 up, walk, walk, I'm using this D7 just because I like this song and I've played it before and I just like the way it sounds. But feel free to do that simpler D7. That's really nice. Thanks, Steve. Thank you. Don't worry, Mal. If you're still there, I shall see you later. See you later. Okay, so let's just try it out with the lyrics so you can hear how it sounds. 1, 2. Oh, hang on. I need the lyrics. I think I should know this off by heart. But 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Look at you now, flowers in the window, such a lovely day, and I'm glad you feel the same, 'cause stand up, out in the crowd, you are one in a million, and I love you so, let's watch the flowers, and etc, etc. I didn't go to G quick enough. Watch the flowers. So there we go, nice beautiful chorus. That's the that's the chorus rather than the verse. Now you might think, oh my gosh, that's really hard to remember compared to Wildwood Flower. If you look at it, it's not too bad. We've got a 1, 6, 2, 5 with just a couple of extra chords. So see if you can memorise this. I find it's not too bad. I've got my 2 C's. And the other way to remember it is fingers on and then move. And then we've got 2 A minors on off. Then D7, the 2 chords. And then we've got a nice change from the minor to the 5. And again, you could do that. 2 C's, 2 types of A minor. You could do this D7. Bring it back. Really nice, right? Really, really lovely. And again, that's what I love. Travis, because they got kind of put in with all the sort of Britpop stuff. A lot of people were quite disparaging about Travis, but I think their songs are really nicely crafted, and these extended chords are really gorgeous. They sound lovely on acoustic guitar as well. Now the chorus is really interesting because again, really simple. 5, 4, really easy. 5, 6, just for a bit of a change. 5, 4, 4, 5. So really, really simple chords, right? It's mostly the 4 and the 5 chords. But some of them are played in a more interesting way. So we've got G7. That's just pretty bog standard, right? For the 5 chord, we quite often play it as dominant 7. When I first held you, I was. Then we've got an F6 chord. Now, an F6 is the same shape as a D minor 7. The reason it's the same shape, if you're interested, is it's 2 chords come up from different places. An F chord can be played like this. The notes are F, F, A and C. And then to turn an F into an F6, we add the 6th note in F, F, G, A, B flat, C, D. We add a D, which is how we get that shape. A D minor 7 takes a D minor shape, which we all know and love, and it adds the 7th note, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. There. So a D minor turns into a D minor 7, an F turns into an F6. The reason they've got different names is where they come from. The F6, it has the sound of an F chord, and a bassist will often play an F note underneath, whereas a D minor 7 comes from a D minor chord, and the bass player will tend to play a D note underneath. Now, again, don't sweat all that theory. Just know that if it's interesting, I think it is interesting, but if it's too much, just know that this chord is like a D minor with that little finger added. Okay. And it's quite helpful if you remember F6 and D minor, they're the same chord. They're relative major and minor, so you can kind of know that this is a D minor and an F6, and it will help you put chords together. But just for now, G7. And then just tilt on that chord up to there. Then we have G7 again. A minor 7, just let all your fingers go. Almost the same again. G, F6, tilt on this one, pivot on it, normal F, and G7. Notice the cliffhanger makes you really want to go to a C chord. Neat, isn't it? I love all these little bits of theory, Karen, and everyone else. I just find it really fascinating. It really helps you with your ukulele playing if you just know a little bit of that stuff, I think. So let's try verse just so you can see how it sounds. Then we'll put it together with the chorus. Okay, so verses start with this G7. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I first held you, I was cold. A melting snowman, I was told. But there was no one there to hold. Before I swore that I would be alone forevermore. Well, look at you now, flowers in the window, such a lovely day, and I hope you feel the same. There you go, like so. So really, really sweet, really sweet. Oh, Tootsie, good to see you. Tootsie was one of the people asking about Kanikapila on Facebook. If you go back to the start later on, Tootsie, I've done a whole explanation of how it all works. And we've got a couple of really simple songs to get you going. So if you get a chance, watch the replay and go back to the start, because there's some really nice stuff in there for your learning. Okay, so let's try putting them together, which would be really, really nice. It will, and we'll play this as the intro is going to be the chorus. Then we go verse, chorus, verse, chorus. The instrumental we're going to do as a chorus. Okay, so that's one to remember. Instrumental we're going to do as a chorus. Now the other, oh, there's something happening. Just trying to read. Oh, it's all right. I'm just trying to read what was happening in the comments, but I couldn't quite work it out. No worries, Fran. See you again soon. Thanks, Joe. Okay, so we're going to go chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. So it's pretty much the same thing over and over. The instrumental you're going to play as a chorus. Now that's going to be exactly the same as all of the songs so far, which is C major pentatonic, and this is because we're in the key of C. So C, D, 0-2. E, G, 0-3, and then A, C, 0-3. And then you can also do your dots along the A string, okay, for your A minor pentatonic. Now I noticed something really interesting on this one, that the melody, what Fran Healy sings, the main melody for the piece is really simple, and it uses this B note which comes from the C major 7, but otherwise it's just the same few notes. Have a listen. So really, really, really simple. So you could even solo with that over the top of the chorus chords. That would sound something like this. Let me see if I got my backing track. Yeah, I have. That would sound something like this. No, starts on a C. Do it again. Or kind of, you can have a little experiment around yourself. But I just thought that was interesting that the melody was basically just a few of those pentatonic notes with the B added in, which is really nice, which makes sense because that's C major 7 chords. So really, really sweet. Now, the other thing we're going to do on this one is when we do this verse, you've just got to remember this, and don't worry if you don't, you can strum it, it'll sound fine. But when we do this verse here, this one up here, we're going to do just down strums. So for that one, it will be like this. Let me just bring my lyrics back up. Give me just a second. There it is. Yeah, cool. So that will sound like this. We'll just do one strum per chord. So now we're here and now it's fine. So far away from there, there's time. So see how just down strums. To plant your seeds and watch them grow. and then you can start strumming here. And so there'll be flowers in the window when we go. Really gorgeous into a chorus there. This is lovely to play on the ukulele. This is the hardest one tonight by a long stretch, but give it your best because it sounds really sweet. All right, let's give it our best try then and see how we got on with this one. I'll keep the chords up and I'll stay here and let's give it a go. Remember, the intro is one of these choruses and then we're going to go into the verse here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, major 7, A minor, A minor 7, D7, F minor to G. And again, C, major 7, A minor, A minor 7, D7, F minor to G. When I first held you, I was cold. A melting snowman, I was told. But there was no one there to hold. Before I swore that I would be alone forevermore. Well, look at you now, flowers in the window, such a lovely day. And I'm glad you feel the same, 'cause stand up, out in the crowd, you are one in a million. And I love you so, let's watch the flowers grow. There is no reason to feel bad, but there are many seasons to feel bad, sad, mad. Well, it's just a bunch of feelings I have and hold. Sorry guys, but I am here to help you share the load. Wow, look at you now, flowers in the window, such a lovely day. And I'm glad you feel the same, 'cause stand up, out in the crowd, you are one in a million. And I love you so, let's watch the flowers grow. Take a solo. Chorus chords. And again. Remember, next bit, just down strums. Another verse. Here we go. So we are here and now it's fine. So far from there, and there is time to plant new seeds and watch them grow. So there will be flowers in the window when we go. Well, look at us now, flowers in the window, such a lovely day. And I hope you feel the same, 'cause stand up, out in the crowd, you are one in a million. And I love you so, let's watch the flowers grow. Oh, well, look at you now, flowers in the window, such a lovely day. And I'm glad you feel the same, 'cause stand up, out in the crowd, you are one in a million. And I love you so, let's watch the flowers sing, grow. And again, sing. Let's watch the flowers, Seeger, grow. Yeah, well done guys. That was a really hard one, but it's one of my absolute favourites we've done at Kanikapila because I think it just works so nicely on a jangly ukulele. Sounds nice on this 5-string because I've got that extra bit of jangle of the low G and the high G. So really have a go at that at home. But just remember that the general chord structure is similar to what we've been doing. It's just that Travis have extended those chords to make them more sophisticated. So really try and work on that and see if you can do it off by heart, particularly that verse bit. If you think 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, and a normal 4, 5 and C. Fantastic. Oh, thanks, Tootsie. Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed that one. I forgot to tell you about that C at the end. Because we're ending a song, it needs that resolution of the C. So I mention it down here just in case you want to go back and look at it. Just hit a C rather than a G in the final couple of choruses, and it just has that nice resolution, which is lovely. Okay. Fran, if you're still there, no worries, and I will see you again soon. Cool. All right, so just a reminder, guys, just before we do the very last song, that we've got a little break now from Kanikapila Mondays, but I will be back in a few weeks' time on March the 17th. So I'll be away on my trip, on my cruise. This is next year's, but I'll be away next week on this year's around the Caribbean. I'm going to try and send some photos to the Facebook group and my own personal page as well. So do have a look. I'll try and post some pictures of us having a lovely time, and hopefully you guys will find it quite inspiring and enjoyable. If I don't get back to anyone, I've had quite a lot of emails recently, which has been really lovely actually, and some really nice video submissions which I've been replying to today. If you don't hear from me in a couple of weeks, don't panic. I will be back middle of March or kind of early March. Back on March the 11th I get back. So don't panic. I will get back to you soon after that. And of course we'll be back for another Kanikapila on March 17th and another live lesson as well that week. So loads of exciting stuff to come. In the meantime, if you are a little bit kind of at a loss what to do, maybe check out the Beatles course. There's 8 measures on eight lessons on there now, and many more to come, and some of them are quite really nice sophisticated chord melodies, so quite a lot to get your teeth stuck into. So lots to look into, or you could work through one of the courses as well. It's all on my website, Learn Ukulele with Matt. Okay, let's do one more song to finish off then. This one was our People's Choice. Oh, by the way, some lovely fascinating facts about the songs in the back of the sheets today, and I found them particularly interesting this time, particularly the Travis one and Paul McCartney. So do go and have a read of that. That's in the back. Karen spends a lot of time researching the songs and teaching you some interesting things, and there's some great stuff on Mr. Tambourine Man as well. So do have a look. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, we'll do Mr. Tambourine next. If you can like the video, that would really help the algorithms to pick me up. That'd be brilliant. Thank you very much. Oh, no worries. Oh, yeah, it's quite hard, Eileen. You've got to instantly transpose, haven't you? So that's quite tricky. If you get a chance, try and go back to the first 2 songs, particularly the first song, Eileen, because that's a really simple one with 2 chords, and that worked really nicely on the baritone. So go back and have a look later on if you get a chance. Oh yeah, and then one last thing, if anyone wants to give me a virtual tip in my jar, it's paypal.me/Ukroom, link in the description. Thanks to everyone that supported me over the weeks and years. It makes a massive difference, so thank you guys. Okay, let's have a look at the last song. I'm going quickly because I realised I took so long on the first song, which was great, hopefully, but I need to crack on. So let's have a look at this one. Now, this one's really interesting. We're in the key of G. If you looked at this and you didn't look at the Nashville numbers, you would probably think that this song's in the key of C. The reason I say that is because we start both the chorus and the verses on a C chord. So you kind of naturally think maybe C is the 1 chord. But Bob Dylan does something unusual here. Most of his songs do start on the 1 chord, but this one doesn't. By not having the 1 chord as a resolution until right at the end here, where we've got this speech bubble, it kind of feels like there's a sense of movement in the piece which isn't resolved until we get to the end, and you'll see that as we play it. So it's a real kind of common thing to trap to fall into, to get the wrong key on this one. The way to try it, if you're ever doing a piece of music, I'm just going to get my lyrics up, is to play through a verse or a chorus and see where the song feels rested. I'll show you what I mean. So, okay. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. And in the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Notice it's only that very last chord, following you, that it feels rested on. So that's what tells us we're in the key of G. And that's a simple way of working it out if you haven't got a key signature or anything, what key you're in. See which chord you feel rested on, and that tends to be the 1 chord. So again, even though this looks really complex because there's all these different chords quite quickly, notice that the entire song is 1, 4, 5 chords. So we've just got to get them in the right order. And notice we also have patterns. This first line goes 4, 5, 1, 5. Just try and like really blaze that in your mind. 4, 5, 1, 4. I think I might have said 5 at the end the first time. 4, 5, 1, 4. Next line, 1, 4, 5. That's easy to remember, right? It's one of the most common combinations of all time. 1, 4, 5. Now, the next line, I want you to notice it's exactly the same as the first one again. 4, 5, 1, 4. The next line is almost identical to the second line, 1, 4, 5. We just happened to go to the 1 chord. Now that sounded way more complicated than it meant to be, but just notice that this line is the same as that one, and this line is almost the same as that one, only it has a G at the end. So you're basically doing the same thing through twice, which makes this way easier to remember. And then if we look at the verse, again, pretty much the same thing. 4, 5, 1, 4. Well, that's the same as that and that. Then we have this G and C chord. This is where the only difference between this bit and this bit is Bob Dylan goes between the 1 and 4 chord again and again. I'll show you how it works in a minute. And then we finally get the resolution to the 5. But something that looked really complicated, you can think of it as A, B, A, B, A, B. It's the same thing over and over pretty much. Now this one, I think we'll just do a standard calypso strum for this one. So we're just going to do a simple down, down, up, down, up, walk, running and running. If you find that hard because it's got the 2 up strums, you could just do up and down. Okay, that will work perfectly fine. Or you could do a walk, running, running, running. As long as you play it in time, we'll be fine. But I like that calypso strum. Down, down, up, down, up, walk, running and running, walk, running and running. Okay, so let's have a look at the chords and the Roman numerals that we've got on here. So we're on the 4 chord, which is the key, which is C, G, A, B, C. This is the reason I did G, the key of G earlier when we were doing the alternate ones, so you get used to these. We've got the 5 chord, and then we've got the 1 chord. And again, remember, I've got no affiliation with these, and you can do your own, you can make your own, as Karen was saying. If you have one of these circular 5th wheels, you can just put G in the middle as the 1 chord, and then look, you can see there 1, 4, 5, G, C and D. So if you need to remember your 1, 4, 5, you can use this, and then if you want to transpose it, 1, 4, 5 in C, C, F, G. It's really clever. All right, so just something to think about there. Hi Andre, good to see you. Thanks mate. Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was one that I enjoy singing. I don't like my own voice, but I think it's one of the few that I can do all right. This one's in way too high a key for me, but I'll give it a shot anyway. So let's have a look. So we got the 4 chord G, C, 5 chord D, and then back to 1. And And then just that little bit of change at the end from the 4 chords in the final measure. So C, D, G, C, and then 1, 4, 5, G, C, and we rest on the 5 chord for 2. Then we do it again. 4, 5, resolve to 1, 4, 1, 4, 5, and then this time at the end we go back to the G chord, the 1 chord, so it feels finished. Let's try that with some words over the top. I'll stay on close cam so you can follow me, my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. And in the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Okay, so relatively simple there. Now the verses, it does the same thing, only when we get to this G-C bit, we keep playing G and C, and Bob Dylan alters it. So in the first verse you play G to C, I think it's 2 or 3 times. Then on the next one 3 or 4 times. Then the next one 4 or 5. So you just keep going between G and C. I'll show you what I mean. I'll come in on close camera. So if I was to do the first verse, we still got the starts the same, right? Though I know that evening's empire has returned into sand. Now G and C over and over. Vanish from my hand, left me blindly here to stand, but still not sleeping. And then the D. And the way to tell is just where it really feels like it wants to go to a resolution. That's where we hit the D at the end. Whereas when I do the final verse, look how many G's and C's there are. I'll do the final verse. Take me disappearing through the smoke rings of my mind. G and C again. Down the foggy ruins of time, far past the frozen leaves, the haunted, frightened trees, out to the windy beach, far from the twisted reach of crazy sorrow. See how he hits a load of G and C's there. So what I'll do, I'll make it really obvious. When I'm going to the D, I'll kind of change my inflection that I sing like he does. But I'll also lean forward a bit so you can see when we're going to that D, which would be really, really cool. Oh, I know. So many people have seen that recently and everyone's been telling me all about it. Apparently, is it Timothée Chalamet? Apparently he's amazing in it. So yeah, desperately want to go and see that. I will get there. Sorry, just going to take another. I finished my coffee, but I've got water as well. There we go. All right. Now, there's one more thing to tell you about this, and then we'll give it a crack. If you want to solo to this one, we're going to use the G major or the E minor pentatonic, because we're in the key of G. And that looks something like this. Okay, again in your scales and reference charts. So there's 2 scales basically together here, all have the same notes, but this one starts from G. This one starts from E. Very similar shapes with slight differences, but all the same notes. So the G major pentatonic, we go right up to our 7th fret. You can spot that one because it has the gap of 2 next to it, whereas these just have a gap of 1. Then we go up to 9. We go back to 7 here, up to 10. Whoops, hit the wrong string then. Back to here, 7 and 10. Okay, so we've got G, A, B, D, E, and another G. 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this one's another G. So that's your G major pentatonic, and then E minor pentatonic it has the bigger gap at the start. So we go from the 4th fret right up here to the 7th fret, and then 5, 7, 5, 7. Same notes, look. So we've got E, G, A, B, D, and then back to an E again. So they have the same notes in them, the G major and E minor pentatonic. They're related, major and relative minor. The cool thing about it, it takes a while to get used to, but notice we've got 2 shapes there. Hi girl! We've got 2 shapes there that are really similar and easy to remember. And if you get used to playing those, you can solo. And notice how much the fretboard it covers. We've got here for the G major, here for the E minor. That's a heck of a lot of the fretboard covered. So you can do a little bit of a solo kind of out these shapes. That will look and sound something like this. I think I did a Mr. Tambourine Man. Yeah, there it is. So just basically combine those 2 shapes and you can get all sorts of noodling going on there, which sounds really, really sweet on this one. And the brilliant thing about these scales is they're movable. Now I'll do a proper, I've got a whole lesson on how to solo. It's on my Next Steps course. But just quickly, know that if this is the G major and E minor pentatonics, well, if I do the same thing 2 frets lower, I get the F major pentatonic and the D minor. So all these scales are movable. So clever. You can learn all these different scales all over the place. Again, if I go back to G major and E minor, well, if this is G major, if I play it 2 higher, that must make this A major. And this will be its relative minor, F sharp minor. So again, movable. You can move those up and down. And eventually that's what a lot of soloists do. They just remember different shapes and places you can play these notes. Eventually you almost want to be able to forget about it and it will just feel natural. And that's when you know you're getting really good at soloing. But that takes a bit of time. So use those shapes to get to know them. Okay, let's have a go then. This will be my last song for tonight. I'm going to hang around to just see if there's any questions or anything. Do remember we will be back on the 17th of March, so we will be back. So a few weeks and we'll be back to it. Thanks everyone that attended tonight. Really enjoyed tonight. It's nice to really get into the meat of how Kanikapila works, and I hope you found that really useful. Let's give it a go then. Beth's Bob Dylan voices. As I said earlier, this one's not in my key at all, so apologies about suddenly stopping when I get to the high notes. You'll see what I mean. But let's give it our best shot. Okay, let me just get my lyrics up and then we're good to go. On this one, we're going to do a solo after every chorus apart from the first one. I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to go chorus, verse, chorus, solo. Verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus. So basically just keep going between verses and choruses. The solo will just do the chords to the chorus basically. All right, which is pretty much the same as the verse anyway. All right, so if you want a little noodle, we'll do one after the second chorus, the third chorus and the fourth chorus. Let's give it a go. All right. I think I've made that sound way more complicated than it is. Let's give it a go. Thanks, everyone. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Indrani. Hopefully not too many sharks. I'd be quite excited to see one, but maybe just not right next to me. Here we go. Oh, I got the wrong sheet up. Getting overexcited. I'll move that over a bit as well. Yeah, cool. Okay, here we go. Sorry, folks. Let's do one chorus as just an instrumental to get us going. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 4, 5. That's G, C, D. And then the third line's the same as the first one. 4, 5, 1, 4/5 again, G, C, D. And then this time finish it with a G. Here we go. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy yet, there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. And in the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Here's our verse. Though I know that evening's empire has returned into sound, vanished from my hand, left me blindly here to stand, but still not sleeping. My weariness amazes me, I'm branded on my feet. I have no one to lead, and the empty ancient streets too dead for dreaming. Chorus. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy yet, there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. And in the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Take a solo. That's your G major and E minor pentatonics. Or strum with me. And we'll come back in for another verse. Here we go. Take me for a trip upon your magic swirling ship. My senses have been stripped. My hands can't feel to grip. My toes too numb to step. Wait only for my boot heels to be wandering. I'm ready to go anywhere, I'm ready for to fade until my own parade. Cast your dancing spell my way. I promise to go under it. Chorus. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy yet, there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, wouldn't pay it any mind. It's just a shadow that you're seeing, that you're chasing. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me, and I'm not sleepy yet. There ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me, and in the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Let's go on to the last verse. Take me disappearing through the smoke rings of my mind, down the foggy roads of time, far past the frozen leaves, the haunted frightened trees, out to the windy beach, far from the twisted reach of crazy sorrow. Yes, to dance beneath the diamond sky with one hand waving free, silhouetted by the sea, circled by the circus sounds, with all memory and fate driven deep beneath the waves. Let me forget about today until tomorrow. Last chorus. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy yet. There ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me, and in the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Well done, everyone. Wow, my hands were hurting by the end of that one. It goes on and on, doesn't it? I love that last verse where Bob Dylan just keeps teasing you. It just goes G to C, G to C, and you never quite know when he's going to resolve to that D chord, which isn't a resolution in itself. It's the 5 chord. So crazy song, but loads and loads of fun. So I hope you enjoyed that. For me, if anyone else found that really hard to sing, I tend to take that down to C. So if you want to have a go at that later on your own, see if you can take everything you've learned from Kanikapila today, particularly those first few songs. You can always watch them back again, where we talked a lot about those different 1-4-5 songs, 1-4-5 chords, and see if you can transpose it and do it in a different key. That would be really brilliant. If you manage to do it, maybe post it on the Facebook group. That would be really, really cool. Our Facebook group, if I think most of you are in it and you know it, but it's Uke Students Hangout. If you just look for Learn Ukulele with Matt or Matt Students Hangout on Facebook, you'll find us on there. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Tootsie. Brilliant. Thanks, Joe. Thank you. Thanks, Indrani. Yeah, it's a big old trip. So we're going to we're going to go to London tomorrow. Well, Heathrow, really. Going to go over to Heathrow tomorrow, and then we're going to stay overnight there, and then we fly on Wednesday. It's weird, isn't it? When you go to America, it's like you're going back in time from the UK, because it's like an 8-9 hour flight, but you end up arriving midway through the afternoon, even though it should be the evening, because you're kind of going back in time. I guess you're going faster than the sun, something like that. I don't know. The science of it all confuses me, but yeah. And then a few days in Florida. I'm really super excited because I'm meeting my friend Lenny, who's one of my students I've taught for many years. And he's going to take me to, and the kids and Sharon, to a really nice butterfly world. And of course, they've got butterflies out there at the moment because it's 25 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to be like running around like a kid in the candy store. I just cannot wait. If you don't already know, I'm obsessed with butterflies. So I haven't seen a single one in the UK yet. Sometimes in February, Start of March, I do tend to start seeing them, but I've not seen a single one yet, so it's going to be really, really exciting. And then, of course, we've got the Caribbean cruise, which is going to be great. So super, 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 super exciting. I cannot wait. And it's going to be our first cruise, so our first cruise experience, which is kind of crazy exciting. So, oh, thanks, Andre. I noticed that on some of them. I think I caught some of them, but maybe not the others, because I had that on the live stream to the one that we're adding. So yeah, you guys know it means March, right? Fab. Thanks, Tootsie. Thank you. If anyone wants to come next year, tickets are going on sale now. This year's did sell out, so it's worth getting in if you can. You can always email Donna, dcurtis@bellnet.ca, and you can speak to Donna and Harry and reserve your place. So it's going to be really, really exciting. We're going to have another brilliant cruise. I just cannot wait. So if you didn't make this year, come and join me next year if you can. And don't forget, I've also got my Spanish adventure. So in May, I'm going to a beautiful Spanish village of Galson, and I'm going to teach there for half a week. So check out that. It's all on my events page on my website. Just go to mattsteadukulele.com and then click events at the top, and all the different events are listed. I'm also going to be doing an Isle of Wight one with Mandy and George in March 2026, and of course we've got our retreats, and the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain will be back next year as well. So loads of exciting stuff going on, so check it out if you can. Thanks, Robin. Thank you. Well, I'm going to go. I need to finish my packing. I'm nearly there, but I need to go and finish packing. So I will love you and leave you, and we'll be back on March the 17th. Don't go anywhere. Please come back, and I'll see you then. Much love, everyone. Take care.